I'm ready.
All right, I'm ready. We're live. It's that time of the week where two people who are actually most unorganized at being organized, all right, are going to come to you and tell you how to be unorganized at organization. I don't know what I just said, but do you know what I said?
Oh my God, it's been an adventure.
Has your week, all right, been like a weird week?
Yes, very weak. Very, very weird. Very weak, weird. Weird.
So like you and I had a call scheduled for Tuesday, and I had it on my calendar, or on my Zoom links, but it wasn't on my calendar.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm like stuck someplace trying to, arrange because the washer for my rental didn't show up that day. So I had to go to Home Depot or like, what the heck's up, man? My renter has no washer.
Torture.
And I'm up there and I'm like, wait a minute. I had something. What was it? And all of a sudden I get this email from you going, hey, I'm in the room. Are you here? And I'm like, oh, crap.
Are we starting?
I'm like, so I quick try to text you and call you from my phone and everything like that. And I just email you like from the phone. I'm like, I'm not even at home. I'm running back to the house as fast as I can. Anyway.
I gotta go.
Yeah. That was not the only one I had this week that I had that happen to, Katrina. I did that to two other people.
It's been one of those weeks. It is what it is,
And it's just and I'm supposed to meet with Joe DeChar to get my, because he's going to start doing my books for me. All right. So I had that on my things. I've got my events, tomorrow. So I'm getting everything ready for that. I had because last month we got thrown into doing my live meetups again because they gave us a location back. So that was last night. All right. And I'm still not, like, I had it down to a system with what I was doing, but now I'm throwing live back into it. And see, everybody else is not throwing the live back in. They're on Meetup. They're just doing their virtuals and keeping it going because it's consistent. I'm like, no. Got to be live. So I'm throwing live in there, and it's totally, can I say, effing up my schedule?
Yep, I get it. When you start to go, well, now we're all this hybrid thing. Yeah. We're doing live, we're doing virtual. And I think everybody's being pulled all these different directions because they're like, oh, I've got this live event now, and we've been virtual for so long. I think we've gotten into that habit, and now that things are going live, it's really throwing a wrench in all of our schedules.
It is. Well, I mean, and that's you know what I mean? Exactly. When we do things, all right, and we get our worlds messed up, we can very easily get caught into a habit of like, this is the habit of how I'm doing it. Yeah. And then we throw something else in the mix and it can throw the whole habit process off. Where I have it. Okay. So I have this whole thing about my operations manual. My operations manual runs my entire company. It directs my day when I get up, right? Yeah. I have not put live event in every month yet. So I've got to write more pages to operations manual.
Yep.
Get the process down.
I was doing really good this week. You'd be proud of me. I was going on Kartra and setting up my portal for my clients on how to work with this and so on and so forth. So I was pretty excited.
Cool.
Exciting.
I know. It's like, wait a minute. No. I've actually talked to two people this week who were like, when I was telling them about Kartra, and they're like, oh, really? That sounds like that's what I need. I'm like, well, here's the advantage. If you're my clients, I have the agency thing, so I can click in and look at your stuff and fix it. And one person was like, oh, really? Like, yeah.
I haven't set that up yet. I think I might do that. I haven't set that up yet.
Well, the neat thing about it, the agency is, like, I have two clients who are using it. I can click through and go look at what their processes is, and I can go look at the sequence, all right, the whole setup, or I can go in and set up an entire campaign for them. All right. And then just tell them, I need this for an email. I need this. I can tell them what I need. I can go set the campaign up and then come in and have them look at it, document, and then boom, hit it into action. So I have one client who's trying to figure out how to set up, she wants to set up our move over. She's got a list of like 50-some thousand people and she wants to import it.
That's tough.
Like, I don't know if I'd import that many at one time, but I'm telling her, like, maybe do it at 100 at a time. All right.
Well, another good option you can do as well is that you can go in and set up an email so that she can send it to her list on the other side.
Yeah.
With an opt-in link to opt into the list. So then that way now it's a true opt-in.
Well, this list that she has is something she pulled from an old company she was part of. She has rights to this list, and it's on an Excel sheet.
Yeah. You have to be careful with Kartra because they'll put you in email purgatory.
But I mean, what would you tell your clients if they had that?
Well, that's the thing though. If it's a list that's an Excel spreadsheet, it's kind of hard to, because of all the spamming and everything and that people have been doing and all the systems that are trying to fix that. It's very feasible that they think it's a bot list, which they don't like. So part of that, like I said, is setting up an email list so that you have that link for them to opt in to the Kartra. So now they're being added to the list on naturally to Kartra, so that now you have a true list. Maybe not all 50,000 of them will opt in, but at least you have a starting point. And you can always go back to those that didn't opt in and try and get them to opt in again. That's another option too, but that's the only way I know with Kartra is the best way to do it, is that if once they're natural opt-ins, then they accept it as opposed to trying to upload it.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay. Well, now if they listen to the podcast, they know how to do it.
Yeah. But they'll still have you do it because they don't want to do it, because that's today's society. I want the easy button. I want you to do it. I don't want to have to do it.
Well, that was the other thing too, is they were actually saying, well, where can they go to find somebody to do it for them, to do data entry and do it one, at a period of time. But I mean, they asked me how I moved mine. I moved over 1,000 people over there. I clicked mine over. All right. And then I fed through them and let them weed themselves out.
Yeah.
But that was that a lot of work? Yeah, it was, because I wanted to make sure I got everything right. And I did it in stages. In other words, this group, I owe this to this group. So let me set that whole system up and put that group over.
Yeah.
I mean, and I moved everything over. And then I had like people who were just like newsletter or opted in and I haven't heard from in months. I kept giving them things going, hey, here's a chance to see me move. Here's a chance to see me move. Here's a chance to see me move. And I think I said it to them over 30 times. And there was still 600 people who didn't move over, but they hadn't bought anything from me, so that I didn't move them over. It's the thousands who bought something from me. I moved them over and then gave them the chance to then get what they have on that I'm on Kartra and opt out.
Yep.
And believe it or not, a lot of them, even though they've bought something from me, have opted back out. And I'm okay with that. At least now I know.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
Well, and that's the big thing, is when you've got a list, you want a list of people that are going to buy from you, not just a list.
Yeah.
List that you're just sending things to that people aren't going to buy or even look at what you've got. It's a wasted list.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I have and I forget who I was listening to. They talk about having lists. So when you have a list of people who've opted in, you have a list of people who've got something from you, give them what they got. All right. And then there's the list that's on your, on your system. But there's this list that's off your system. So in other words, I have the master list.
Yeah.
Still in a Excel sheet. I will not upload that into Kartra. However, there are tools using advertising tools like Google and Facebook and stuff like that I can do what they call a like list, or these are the type of people I want to market to.
Yeah.
All right. And basically it grasps a lot of them, and you can then run, several thousand people I can run Facebook ads to get them to opt back into what I do, as opposed to just throwing them on the list and marketing to them.
Yeah.
And I hate that when someone actually takes my email address from someplace and adds me to their list. And I'm like, okay, who is this? Why am I getting this email? Because that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I get it all the time. And it's very frustrating. And the other frustrating thing too is when you're in LinkedIn and you linked with somebody, all of a sudden now you've got this long ass text saying, I'd really like to work with you and this is what I can do and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I didn't link with you to get sold. If you're just going to sell me, I'm going to unlink. So
someone did that to me in Facebook Messenger the other day, but luckily Facebook Messenger says requested connection or something in Facebook Messenger. It's not, or you know what I mean? It's not like, you know what I mean, everybody can do it. It's like they realize that you're not connected.
Yeah.
And this person was in a Facebook group with me, and they saw my comments of something on a Facebook group, and immediately they were trying to sell me into getting into the, you know what I mean, becoming part of their coaching universe. And I'm like, not interested. I just deleted the message, didn't even respond to it. But the other thing I have is on my Facebook business page, the messenger in there. I have people who message me in there, and it's just an automated response. I hardly ever go check that. And I checked that the other day and realized someone sent me a message in there like weeks ago.
Whoopsie.
Well, I did have one person. Well, the reason I checked it is because I got a message that someone was sent me a message in there. And the reason being is they were last week before, I can't remember when, they were supposed to be on my podcast and they didn't show up. And that's one of my number one rules. You don't show up, I don't answer your emails. I'm sorry. I don't care. I mean, you could have messaged me 5 minutes beforehand. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Bad form.
Yeah. Cause that's like I set a bunch of stuff up for that. All right. And I very much, as I said, this week I had 2 appointments that I missed because of the fact that I didn't put them on my calendar.
Yeah. If I don't have it on my calendar, it doesn't get done.
Yeah. And that's why I messed with you. I set up the Zoom room, but I did not put the Zoom link on my calendar. And that's what messed me up. It's why I missed that call. All right. And that's bad. All right. Because I'm a person who can't stand people when I miss it. And here I miss somebody's call that I agreed to.
It happens. I mean, what happens? Shit happens, right?
Yeah. Well, in this case here, you and I already have. I mean, it's stuff that you and I 90% of, like somebody knows, guys. Like 90% of the stuff we do before we come on air is emails back and forth all week.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we were just trying to do a prep meeting, and we just really didn't get to a prep meeting.
No, so we're winging it.
Yeah. So we're winging it, but which is what we do best.
We're winging it. We have wings.
Speaking of wings, all right. By the way, all right. Do you like chicken wings?
Well, I'm more of a drumstick thigh kind of gal.
Okay. When we cook, this is something we do at our house. We cook like Cornish hens, or we cook whole chickens, right? We've got the grill. All right. So we do them up. My mom and I are always the two fighting over who gets the wings. My wife is like, there's 2 wings on the bird. I don't have a chance.
Yeah, that's true.
But, yeah.
It is what it is. There's only 2 of everything on that bird, if you think about it.
There is. It's funny you say that. There is only
2 legs, 2 wings, 2 thighs. That's how it's all broken up.
Well, yeah, and you know what I like to do? Why? I mean, I still have it down there because my wife made the whole chicken up and then, pulled it all off the bone before she left this week. And I go down and pick some of it out of there, chop up, make a chicken salad out of it.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah, toast me some, English muffin or a bun and put it on that.
Good
this
stuff.
week I come up with a different mix for my chicken salad by making a sriracha mayo.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been watching this show. Oh my God, I'm totally hooked. She's on the Discovery Plus channel, and her name is The Delicious Miss Brown. And she cooks Southern things because she's from South Carolina, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this woman and everything she cooks is fantabulous. I haven't eaten it, but it sure looks good. Her recipes look fantastic, but I'm telling you, if you're on a diet, you don't want to do her recipes because they are not diet friendly at all. I'm just saying. They're good. They look so good though.
My favorite thing to cook is, and which is probably what I'll make today when I'm done my next podcast. I have like a little bit of a break. Is I'll actually pull right out of the freezer a hamburger, throw it on the grill, toast a bun.
That's it, huh?
Oh baby,
hamburger.
Yep. I got me some, some chopped onions to go on to it. All right. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Lettuce, tomato.
Of course, folks, he's talking about the food, but has he invited us over yet? Haven't gotten the invite yet.
I think I've invited you when you were in town, but you wanted to go hang out with the girls.
Yeah, well, when girls get together.
Yeah, but okay. But that group of girls, all right, I get you guys were here for something else, and I get it. But I mean, that group of girls has never, all right, come to one of my barbecue things.
Well, we're going to be out there in August, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. We will be there in August, so we'll have.
Usually, when you guys come, all right, and this is Tony. She'll organize a restaurant first, all to go to, and she'll ask me what barbecue place, and I'll tell her what barbecue place to go to. But we had it the one time that we had women, and then we had one of Craig's events afterwards. Is the morning of Craig's event, is his mastermind event. I put on the grill at my house, all right, like 4 racks of ribs.
Wow.
All right. Mm-hmm. And like I slow cooked them, and I wasn't able to come down and do my flavor and flip every 4 hours because we were at the event. But then I left the event just as we were wrapping up, and we arranged a hotel room to meet in. And I come home, took them off the grill. All right. Put my extra seasoning on, a little bit of sauce onto them. All right. Cut them all up, put them into containers, and took them up there. And then I had to take some to Craig's hotel room because he was off to something else. And I was
part of that. I missed that one.
Yeah. You and Tony, I think, had to leave and weren't there for it.
Yeah. Bummer. But this August, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
This August.
I'm going to do, my birthday in September. I do think maybe I'll, I might do a something for a party, but I have too small of a condo to be able to hold, a big party. But I want to invite a couple people over and do my barbecue.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yay! We're going to get invited, guys.
Yeah. If you're on my email list, you can get an invite.
If you actually accept and be on his email list, if you accept. So we were talking about travel, and I came up with this awesome topic about Disneyland.
I've seen that this week. Let's talk about that.
I love Disneyland, and as a kid we used to go all the time. But do you remember those books? They were the ticket books that you would get several ticket books, and then you would have a couple of them that Tony.
When Tony moves here, I guarantee you, Tony and Keith will be down the house visiting my barbecue. Her husband wants to taste my barbecue.
Well, we're going to do that in August. We're going to do it. But do you remember the books that you used to get at Disneyland? And you'd have a couple, you'd have to, if you went on this ride or that ride, it's the green ticket or the blue ticket or whatever the case may be. Do you realize it was like $20 to get in the door? And now it's over $100 to get in the door.
What was the cost? Wait. What was the value of $1 back then? And what was think about that? No, seriously, think about that. What's the value of $1 then? And what's the value of $1 now?
Yeah, I know it's a huge difference. But when the last time we went for the Main Street Electrical Parade because it only ran from 1972 to 1996. Yeah. And that particular day we went, they actually turned people away for the first time because it was so crowded they couldn't handle anymore. Was fun time.
Wait a minute. That reminds me of the first Griswold movie. All right. I'm sorry. The moose should have told you out front. We're closed. All right. And then he goes, like, where did he go? He says where did you go to vacation? Florida. Well, would you like it if they closed down Florida? They don't close down Florida.
No. Yeah. They closed it. It was a lot of fun. There were a shitload of people there. A lot of people. And I was surprised considering how many people were there, how well they were behaving. Although by the end of the evening, people were getting pretty grumpy, especially with the strollers. You know how you get the strollers hit in the back of your feet? You hit me with that damn stroller one more time. Whoopsie.
Wait a minute. But like, all right. How many times have you been hit by strollers, and how many times did you hit people with strollers?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you try your best, but you're looking and you're going, it is what it is.
It's nothing like the single guy going.
or popping right in front of you. And you're like, oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was on my phone. All right. So Tony did this for us.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
$1.1965 is now $8.35.
Yeah. Amazing. The cost. Yeah. I would like to go back to the $20 ticket, please.
20 would be $160.
I know. I go to the $20 ticket, please.
So, I remember. No. I remember when I graduated high school. My first 6 months of my first job I had was I lived above a bar or down from where my work was, and I didn't have a kitchen, so I had to eat out. And I remember eating out McDonald's. God, I've always been a big Mickey D's fan. All right, McDonald's, 3 meals a day, and it was for $30 a week. $30 a week covered 3 meals a day for 7 days.
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah. And like now, $30, that won't feed 2 people at McDonald's.
No, not anymore. Yeah. Not anymore. It's called inflation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. And haven't you seen the cereal boxes? A while back, you used to see the big cereal boxes, and then they went to smaller. Now they're doing it again, and they're shrinking it down, and the cost is more. So they've upped the cost, but you're paying for a lot less.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it makes, it just, I don't know. Frustrating. I don't want to be paying that much for this tiny box. If I'm going to pay that much, I want a bigger box.
But do you remember when we were little and your grandparents would say, in my day?
Yeah.
I used to hate my grandfather when he said it, back in my day. And I'm like,
yeah.
Now what do I say to my kids?
In my day.
Yeah.
Well, here's the funny part is we went to a party, and there were some, I don't know, they were 18, 19-year-olds. And we were telling them, talking about remotes. There were no remotes in our day. We were the remote.
Yes.
Get up, go change the channel. There were no cell phones.
Katrina, channel 3.
You had to get a dime or a quarter to go to a phone and call mom, and you always had to put it in your sock to make sure that if there was any issues, you always had it. So I mean, and what I could get a whole bag full of candy for like $5. Whole bag stuffed with candy. Oh my God, it was awesome. Now everything's changed a lot. And when we were telling them all of this, they were just like, wait, there were no cell phones and no computers. Nope. That's the one thing that it's like everything else they just glazed over. But those 2 things, there was no, how did you survive?
Wait a minute. If you missed the episode of your favorite TV show, you missed it. You couldn't just look it up on the web.
No. And there were 12 channels, including VHS. 12.
Well, you people in California had 12. We had 3.
Yeah, 12. We had 12.
We had 3.
1,500, we had 12. And we watched them because, like you said, if you missed it, you missed it.
You missed it. Yeah.
So you rushed home to get to, I got to watch my show. Now you get to watch it.
What was the show that you watched that you remember the most from your childhood?
Brady Bunch.
I remember Brady Bunch on reruns after I got home from school, but the show, the in-network show that I remember watching the most was The Waltons.
Oh yeah, or Little House on the Prairie was another one we watched.
Oh yeah, Little House, that was another one I watched. But The Waltons had more of an impact on me than Little House on the Prairie did. I think because The Waltons had cars.
Oh.
John Boy had a car.
I was enthralled with Nellie. Do you remember Nellie?
I remember Nellie.
Such a winch. But I was enthralled with how she would get away with things and how sneaky she was. And how Laura Ingalls would get back at her here and there, and she, get her jabs in. Just, I guess I related to that more than anything because I was bullied in school, so I related to that. Oh, the Carol Burnett show. Love that show. That was the best too.
You were also the antenna at times.
I remember that too.
No, a little bit over that way. Yeah.
To the left. Wait, to the right. Put your hand up. No, the little pinky. Hold your pinky up. There you go. Perfect. Don't move.
Oh my gosh. The things we did. Did you ever go through a period of time that you were without a TV?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because here's the thing, my mom was a single parent and she spent her tax money on this little tiny TV that was very cute and a stereo set, and it was stolen. So we went without a TV and radio because that was all her money that she'd spent. So we went with that one for, I think it was about a month. So it was always, I'm going to go over to Kim's house because we're going to go watch TV. Okay. I'm going to go over to so-and-so's house. We're going to go watch TV. So it was always, we went over to somebody else's house until we got our own. And we were out for about a month.
Here we go. There's another old show.
Yeah, I remember the Honeymooners. That was an old one.
To the moon, Alice.
Yeah. And I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was one of my favorites. Still is to this day. I love Lucy.
Munsters.
Yes.
I remember we watched the Munsters, and the first time I ever got to see the Munsters, it was on my aunt and uncle's. We were up at my aunt and uncle's house in New York, and they had like cable. We didn't have cable where we lived. All right. It just did not reach our part of the country. And I remember watching the Munsters. I'm like, oh, that's a cool show. Again, they had a cool car.
Yes. Well, let me ask you this. There was Addams Family and there was the Munsters. So if you had to choose, which one would you choose?
I was a Munsters person.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I love the Munsters, especially Herman.
Yes. Yeah.
He was great. He was also good in My Cousin Vinny. Did you see him as the judge?
I loved him in My Cousin Vinny.
The what?
Youths? What'd you call that? Two youths.
Youths. When you're
I think Marissa Tomei is the only person who won like an award for that movie, I think. Yeah.
Yep. My biological clock is ticking.
You're a little deer, all right. You went down to actually get a little bit of drink, all right, and bam, you're shot in the head. Are you thinking what did the guy have on?
You don't care.
Dead.
Do you care if pants or not? No.
Gotta go. All right. Thanks, Tony, for stopping in. All right. But those model train crashes were also cool on the Addams Family. Yes.
I remember those.
So my brother-in-law, when he got his first computer, his first laptop, right? And he said to him, this is before I met him, right? He gets his laptop and he's like, well, what do I do with it? And they're like, well, you can go online and look things up. Like what? All right. Well, what is a topic that you would like to search? And he goes, trains on fire. So it's a joke now. Every time we do something, look, Howard, trains on fire.
What was that one show? It was Puppets. It was about space and God, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was the Puppets. They were string puppets. It was on for a little bit. It was all about spies and spaceships. And Robert, help us out here.
Yeah, Robert, tell us in. Somebody in the audience, remember us. Remember this show.
It was all the puppets on string and so forth. And it was God, I can't remember the name. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah. No. While you're looking that up, all right. Well, no. While we're looking that up, I guess we can go to. It's that time of the week where we got to give your website tip of the week. Do you have one?
I do. All right. So here's the tip of the week, guys. And this is something that a lot of people forget. Gather all of your information together in one place to make it easier for your webmaster. And what do I mean by that? I mean usernames, passwords for your social media, the back end of your website if somebody's taken it over, your CRM, which is your client resource management system. I mean, anything that's going to be attached to your website, you should have the username and password and put it all in Excel spreadsheet. It's easy to do and just hand that over. And then that way they have it all in one place, because a lot of times when you're waiting on them to get stuff done, they're waiting on you because they're waiting to get that information from you. Get it all in one place. Then that way it's easier for you down the road too. That's my tip for the week.
That's actually a pretty good tip. I've never thought keep it all in one location. Is that like create an owner's manual?
Yeah, there you go.
Operations manual? Yeah.
Yep. You know how many people I would hear that, wait, I got to get my Facebook. I always sign in, so I don't know what it is. So I got to figure that out, because they have these automatic that sign them in automatically, so they don't know what the password is or the username.
Got a whole. I got a folder with that. I'm not going to show you. It's way back here. Yep, I got a folder with that.
Yep.
I actually have it disguised. I actually have it disguised and hidden in places that I can access it from my phone. You know, through getting to my server on my phone to get to a digital copy of it. But it's you know what I mean. I have to be able to get to my server from my phone to get it.
Yeah.
So if I can't get to my server because I forgot that password, I'm screwed.
Well, I have all mine on RoboForms, so it makes it a little easier. But I still have a printout, because you never know. Electronic things do go awry, as we found out. They do go awry. Thunderbird, Robert. Thank you, Thunderbird.
Oh yeah, I seen that come up as you. Yeah,
Thunderbird. Yeah. I knew you'd have it. Thank you, dude. Woo! Yeah. That was it. Thunderbirds.
Gotta love it when that comes up.
All the oldies and goodies.
Cool. You know, one of the things though, you know, we had down in the list to talk about this week. You know, it was, you know, we've been talking the last couple of weeks about, you know, ransomware and stuff, but something unique happened to my family yesterday that I want to change it a little bit.
Okay.
And that is, my cousin Cindy had her Facebook hacked and taken from her.
A couple people have had that.
Yeah, basically she can't access it. And I think we should talk about ways to set up your Facebook, all right, and set up things so that you know you can keep track of it. And that is, all right, the first thing I asked her is, well, did you get the email saying your password was changed? Yeah. In other words, you have to set up your account on these social media channels so that if something changes, your password, you're changing email addresses, it has to send a confirmation email to you. And when you do, you can say that this wasn't me.
Yeah.
And there's an option for you to then get it back. She's looking to find that right now. Most people don't think to set that up. That is within there, all right, to be able to, and almost all social channels have that. Even
also the two-step verification.
Yeah.
There's two-step verification where you go in and you verify, and then you can either do it through an app, that's the Google app, where you can get a number from there. It's like a code, or they have other two-step verifications where you get a text through your phone. You always should do the two-step verification, because that's another way to kind of counteract that so that they can't get into your account.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was in something else this week. All right. And I changed passwords into it. I think it was one of my games or something. I changed passwords. It emails you and said, hey, did you change your password? All right. Oh, well, no, GoDaddy. Because I went in and I have like 7 domains that weren't forwarded through to my host.
Yeah.
So I had to go into GoDaddy and get those 7 domains forwarded into my host so that I knew them. And like GoDaddy sends me an email. Did you do this? All right. Because if you didn't, all right, and you can hit the button into it. No, that was not me. And it reverses it. All right. And then they make you set up a new password. All right. They make you go into, you know what I mean, to clean up whatever got patched. All right.
Well, here's the interesting thing too, is I had a friend whose Facebook account was hacked as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a message from her that didn't have a face on it. And I thought, and I hadn't talked to her for a long time. So I got a message from him saying, hey, how you doing? It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, I haven't talked to you for a while. Hey, where's your picture?
Yeah.
And it sounded like her by the way they were talking back and forth. But then all of a sudden I get this text that says, hey, have you heard of this program through the government, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like her. Why would she do that?
Yeah.
So then I thought something's up. So then I unblocked him, took him down. And literally the next day she sent out an email saying, my Facebook was hacked. Please don't accept any friend requests, da, 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 da. And it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But up front, it sounded like her
in
regards to what they were doing in texting back. It was very deceiving.
So, I mean, and I get this, I've always been an eye for things that could be deceptive and be wrong. So I like to catch the clues early.
Yeah.
One of the things I got this week was that I most people wouldn't. One of my business accounts are with Chase Bank. All right. And I get an email saying, hey, you have a private message. All right. Click here to go see your private message on your Chase account. I don't click the button. I go to my computer and log into my Chase account. Right.
I do too.
And it was legitimate, but I still went, and I mean, I don't click the buttons in emails anymore.
Yeah.
So instead of 8, yeah, my wife's texting me if I can do dinner tonight at 7 instead of 8. I don't know why. I'll deal with that later. It's a busy day.
I mean, and we also had another ransomware with Kaseya.
What's Kaseya?
Kaseya is a virus protection company, which and they have several companies that are set up with their ransomware, or not ransomware, but their virusware, and evidently they had several people that were affected.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're getting a lot of them were small businesses and that type of thing, and now the small businesses are trying to go after them to say, you got to pay the ransomware so we can get our money or get our information back, because they basically have taken their data hostage. Which, when you get ransomware, that's a really hard one to get out of. It really is. I know there's things you can try and put in place so you don't get there. And like we've discussed in past shows about backing up your data somewhere else, so that way at least you got your data and you can upload it and you can continue working. But ransomware is tough, because as small business owners, a lot of times we take our data for granted, and we just think nothing's going to happen to. I'm a small business owner. Nobody's going to want my stuff until it happens to you. And now, I mean, and you have to think about it. What would happen if all of your data disappears tomorrow? Can you still work? Can you still manage? Can you still hop along? You know, we've had this discussion before, and it's one of those things. What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, and now, like, I'm trying to get all the stuff I do on my website is all my blogs are now, like, I put my content in several different places. So basically, my blog posts, they're not backed up, but I have all the data and information to redo it. I have a file with all my videos, all my audios. All right.
Yeah.
I used to keep a file. Actually, I was digging through files last night and trying to do this thing for Craig, trying to find old stuff I had, old content. And I actually have a file of all my old blog posts in Word documents.
Yeah. Oh, well, and then there are people too that have had podcast shows, such as myself, from old podcast interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, okay, well, they've got the downloads, right? So I can go back and get it. No, they delete them. And then guess what? All of your podcast shows, gone. Unless you download them, they're gone.
Yeah, I know. I've got the audios. Like, I have the audios for this show, all right, in a file. And by the way, we should have our audio version. We're on episode number 5. I think we have to have 7, all right, and I start putting them up. So, and then they'll be up on audio only every week as well. So, but you know, that's it. I mean, I have them on a file, and I'm actually trying to build it now to where I'm trying to build a server to store all of my stuff, so I have records of it, because I have my early stuff is on my old PC. It's actually still on that hard drive on that computer, and I can't get it off.
And you can't get it. Yeah.
Well, it's because the you know what I mean. I don't know if I could get it booted up anymore, but the only way to transfer is to put it on a disk of some sort and then move it over. Well, the disks are not compatible to get the, you know what I mean, to get it, whatever it is, in the formats.
Yep. I get it. Older equipment is not as compatible.
That's why now I've now built a system again, but like my one blog, my original blog is still up with all it was like 700 and some odd articles onto it on WordPress.com.
Yeah.
And I'm just leaving it there. I actually, I think I put a message on there. We've moved. We no longer use this. We're now on. We've moved the whole message, but you know, and it's, you know, but I left it there. You know, and I learned that from the guy who I followed when I first started blogging was a guy named Steve Scott. And I went to Steve Scott's site one day, and it basically said, "Hey, this concept was great while we did it, but we've now moved." But he left all of his old stuff up there. You know, and there was another guy who followed who basically, when he sold his blog and company, they took all of his old stuff down.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm leaving it up there, and it's on a website that basically it's not costing me anything to leave there, so I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah. But you should always have your information. I mean, you can't assume that when you're on another podcast interface that they're going to keep that in hand for you. And that's why so many people too are doing their own podcasts, and hopefully they're downloading them in a good spot and in a couple places. So then that way, if something happens, they've got a couple of copies, because as we know, you have to have a couple copies all over the place in the cloud, and it's on an external server. I mean,
but like the one thing that I've started doing is emails. Because that's, I mean, I've got one of those messages saying, well, yeah, we've now attached your emails and we're going to take them down and blah, blah, blah. And like, we're going to, shut your email down. And I'm like, go ahead. I think I learned this from Craig, you know what I mean? One touch, get it done. Whenever you open it, get it done and take it off. Well, some of the stuff I have to save. So I started saving it off, you know what I mean? Offline. So it's saved to my thing here. Like all of like I'm an HOA board member for our HOA.
Yeah.
And I save all those emails in a file on my computer. On my servers, not on the email server anymore. Yeah. But like on the email server, I get the important part about it handled, and then it doesn't matter if someone does. So
well, and the thing is with all the ransomware and everything out there is it's not going to get much better. It's just fighting it, and the platforms and the other things that are out there are trying to work harder to negate it more. So that way it protects people. But as humans, we're only human.
Yeah.
And as long as we don't, we have to protect our own information and realize that if we don't, I mean, we can't blame anybody but ourselves. In some respects, I mean, my issue when I had a couple weeks ago, I'm still working through, but hey, I'm still going, moving forward.
You still have issues, don't you?
Yeah, I have a lot of issues. A lot of issues. I'm just saying.
So you put something else in. I know we have to cut today's show short because of scheduling, but you put something else in the things to talk about this week that I've seen in here. I'm like, maybe do I want to go attack this one or not? What if you could delay aging? What would you do it? Would you do it? What was that? I want to know what that topic and why.
I thought it was a great topic because right now the U.S. military is working on a pill to counter affect the aging process. So I wanted to know if you had an opportunity and somebody gave you the pill, just like Matrix, you got the blue pill or the red pill. If you wanted to stop aging and actually kind of go backwards a little bit, or if you wanted to just continue forward and just deal with it, what choice would you make?
So I'm going to go there because this is our show, and you've been warned, Katrina. To you, the guest, you've been warned as well. All right. I thought when it got to a certain age, girls, that you didn't want to take the pill anymore.
Boom. He's here all night, folks.
Yeah, I forget where I was at in a discussion this week, and we were talking about drugs and like, you know what I mean? And drugs and interactions with drugs. And one of the things I said about the only pill that has ever interested me that I would that's a drug that interests me, and it's not it's not a real pill, right? Is the movie Limitless. Bradley Cooper, where he has this drug that he takes that enhances his brain functions. And literally, it's like if you Google search, is there a Limitless pill? All right, there is like 20,000 pages of Google on whether there is a Limitless pill. There isn't. Yeah. All right. And it was a movie concept. All right. And there's people come out with all kinds of stuff that say they can help you. That's herbs or, vitamins or supplements, but it's not a drug. Right.
Nope.
But that is one drug that's like, that one sounds interesting to me,
But
all about the outcome.
Would you want to, if you could regress the aging, not necessarily like Benjamin Button, but if you could regress some of it, where they're talking about like the dementia and the body aches and pains and how, you could do more for longer. Mm-hmm. Essentially we already are doing that. If you think about it, people that are in their 60s, they say it's their 30s and so on and so forth. We're living longer. we've got more healthful lives. We're eating better. We're exercising. We're doing more, and we're more active than we used to be, or our parents used to be, and then some.
We have a pill that will make you do more for longer. Us men use it.
Yeah, especially the men. And some of the women are going to be using it now too.
No. I actually had lunch with a person, or dinner with a person this week. All right, we were talking about business, and we were talking about that. She goes, we were talking about aging. She's same age as us, and she goes, well, you men have a pill to help you get along with that. We don't have a pill to help us get along with it yet. And I'm like, I'm still not taking that pill. All right.
Or the funny one is I took 2, and I think it's too many because it won't go down.
I seen that in a movie too. I don't know if I want to go there.
Yeah. See, we went there. I warned you.
You were warned.
You were warned. We went there. We did. Yeah. We did go there. I just thought it was an interesting concept. I thought, and why the U.S. military? Why were they coming up with it? It was interesting.
There is stuff that goes back, and there's rumors or stories, whatever you want to call it, that during World War II, the Germans were doing medical research on basically how to make people be able to how to get, how to have kids faster, they were researching how to take care of aging, how to heal ailments, how to heal wounds. They were studying that during World War II because they thought they were going to come out victorious from the war. All right. Yeah. And they wanted to be able to heal faster. All right. And populate the earth faster. All right. So they were studying that. And that was like 1940s.
Yeah.
They were studying that. So there's stuff out there that is studied. And I think the studies that were done medically in the 40s and 50s and 60s and even before that were probably studies that were more focused on the long-term effects of it. Whereas some of these pills that are coming out today, and you watch the TV ads for these pills. All right. But if you have, I have one of them. All right. If you're allergic to the name of the pill, don't take it. You have to put that down, but they give all the side effects. Right. And it's like the list of side effects, they have the list of the commercials longer than the commercial itself. All right. Yeah. And it's because they're trying to rush things through to solve problems like this. I would be okay with
just to caveat that with the FDA, it used to be if you had over 12 people or more that had that issue, then they had to list it. Now they only have to have 1.
Wow.
And then they have to list it. So the caveat of that is the FDA has changed that based on other meds that have come out and have the issues, because I worked at Amgen, and that was one of the things that we always had to deal with is, damn, now we got to list this because enough people had it. So it's a side effect that you didn't want to have to list. Now you've got to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Infecting meth and testosterone were the Germans on World War II. It explains why Hitler was so animated on the podium.
Yeah. Good comments, Robert. Good comments. Always. Yes. Thanks for watching. Good comments.
Yeah. It's always great to have Robert. As we think through these things, though, in aging and pills and stuff like that, the research, I said the military is doing the research, you said, as opposed to like we were talking about Germany, all right, the government was doing the research. Here, what we have in America, and this is the good and the bad,
yes,
is we have independent companies who are doing the research. Yes. We were successful in America at getting and I get there's opinions on the vaccine, but we were successful as Americans because companies went out and started doing the research to come up with a solution fast. Yeah. All right. That's why we got them out that fast, is because now it wasn't about competing, but it was, we've got to get a solution out. And the U.S. was open to more people, more corporations that actually did the research. All right. To come out with a solution.
Yep.
When we referenced earlier, the little blue pill. All right. There's several different solutions that are out there, as opposed to the government doing it. Well, now you have one solution out there, and you don't have all the data on around it. So yeah, I like the independent, free marketplace being able to determine whether it's valuable or not.
I agree.
So
I totally
we come out with a solution, we come out with a pill, or we come out with a drug, all right, or we come out with a serum or something that helps us not age anymore. All right. I'm gonna listen to the testing onto it. I want to find out. And I like it if it was, some company was doing it, because if it's successful, they make a profit. If it's a failure, they fail and they don't make money. As opposed to the government, all right. And then we get, someone who goes, well, everybody needs to get this.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I disagree with everybody needs to get this. Totally disagree with it. All right. And that's when I hear of anything like this in the drug world coming out. But anti-aging, one of the things that I've learned in my life is I've literally started taking care of my health better. You know what I mean? I learned what I can and cannot do. You know what I mean? Learning my limits. Like my mom can't eat certain bread. So so she goes out bread. She takes a taste of the bread. She doesn't eat the whole loaf. You know what I mean? Because when you go to the restaurant, Katrina, we eat the whole loaf before the meal comes out, and then we can't put the meal in.
I know. Yep, I know. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff out there that's not good for us, but there's also a lot of stuff out there that is. It's just a matter of choice.
Like chocolate.
You were talking about. It's all about choice.
Like chocolate. Chocolate's good for you, right?
Oh, yeah. It's very good for you. And you don't gain any weight, ladies, at all.
Anyway.
No, in fact, you lose weight. You heard it here.
Yeah. I heard it first.
Garcia Hour, you heard it here.
So, Katrina, we have to cut our show short today because we have other things that we'll backed up on tight schedules today, guys. But let's do our closeout there, Katrina. Why don't you tell everybody about you and your business and how you can help them this week?
So I am Katrina Garcia with KG Website Designs. And listen, we help you make your brand shine. When there's a world out there with so many people screaming and trying to get attention, and it's really hard to get out there, we help you do that with your website.
Cool. Thank you. So guys, I'm Tim Gillette and timgillette.com speaker, and as well as I do simple, easy events, which we actually are having one tomorrow with Katrina speaking at it. So we do online marketing, a different subject every month, and help you with your online marketing. Membership type deal. All right. Once you join in, you get to come attend them all. So simpleeasyevents.com if you want to actually learn ways to be very innovative in online marketing. Other than that, I'm Tim Gillette, guys, and I love hosting this show with Katrina, and I appreciate you guys for listening.
Yes, thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right. We will see you guys next week with another great episode. I promise you we'll have more fun things to talk about.
Always.
All right, guys. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.